Hello everyone, my name is Lenny from Code with Lenny Len, and in this 10th Pygame tutorial series we are continuing to build our pawn game. In the last tutorial we did a progressive paddle movement. I also showed you a bit of FPS, just a bit on FPS. If you can remember, we created a clock object by assigning it Pygame, just by creating a variable called clock and assigning it Pygame.time.C clock. Remember, it's a clock with capital C. Then come after updating our screen, just write clock.tick and whatever number it was of frames per second you want. If you did something like 5, it will be too slow. You could literally see the player like moving in stops, moving like pausing, move, pause, move, pause, move, pause. Oh my, that's so boring. And to make our player feel like he's really playing a good game, you put this to a default. Standard default is usually 30, but you can tweak this, you can experiment till you find your perfect one. Remember, 20 to 30 is for simple 2D games, 40 to 60 for advanced games, and 120 for high-end action first-person shooter games like Modern Warfare, Need for Speed, all those games that require a lot of fast processing and quick motion graphics and so on and so forth. You'll really go with a high FPS, but for now we will go with 30. So in this tutorial I want us to start making our borders. If you can remember, our borders last time did not work. We did not have borders at all. All you could see was a screen, and most of you thought that the edge of the screen was our borders, but from what you have seen is that Pygame does not really recognize that you have some borders placed anywhere on your screen. If you move the player paddle up, it will go on forever and ever. I don't know if when it will come back. So for us to fix that, we do not want our player to run off the screen or something of the sort. We are going to create borders, and we are going to do that in this tutorial series as quick as possible. So without wasting time, let's get started. So first, to get started with borders, we're going to use the logic. Now this is what I love. I usually specify logic as the if statements, though all this junk of code is here. I do not think this is logic, but anyway, it still works. So, and it's still placed in game logic, so I'll just treat it as game logic for now. But for us to build a game logic, you use if statements, and this is how we do it. Remember that our screen edge was 600 by 500, that's our screen size. And if I could show you a quick demo, so this is not a perfect demo to show you, but if you can assume that this point here is 600 and this point Y here is 500, for us to put borders we have to tell it that, for example, if the player paddle Y position is less than or equal to 0, that is at this point, then set the player paddle position to be at that point, and that will create a border up there. And if you have to create a border down here, just say if the player paddle Y position is greater than or equal to this Y size, which was maybe 500, then set the player paddle position to be at that specific point. All you have to remember at this point down here is that you have to account for the player paddle Y size, and for us to do that you have to say if player paddle Y plus the paddle X or Y size position is greater than or equal to point Y, then set that to be the position of that paddle. That sounded a little confusing, I know, it's much intimidating, and as long as you keep up with me, I know you're going to get it sooner or later. And without wasting time, let me show you how to do that. It was a bit confusing, but now I know you're going to get it. So if play pad Y, so if the player paddle Y is less than or equal to 0, that is the screen Y starting point, that was part 0. So let's do it, and let's do it by saying if the player pad Y position is less than or equal to 0, then we should set our player pad Y position equal to 0. So that means that it will stay at that position. Once it reaches 0, it will stay at 0. We can quickly test and run. So we have our player paddle. Let's try it. And boom, it worked, guys. As I said, if the position is less than or equal to 0, then set the player paddle Y position to be at that place, that point, and at that time. So you can see this has created our border, just an if loop running in our game logic. And now we are building our logic. This is where I love most. This is the part that I love, because this is the place that you now control how things work. You can take the game logic as the behaviors of the object. So you can tell it, this is how I want you to move. These are the rules and regulations of my house, and you have to follow them. And as always, it will follow what you tell it to do. So we did the upper part. Now let's do it the lower side. So if play pair Y is more than or equal to 500, but remember we are not hard coding anymore, so we're just going to say screen underscore Y. So if it's greater than or equal to the screen Y size, that was 500, what do you want us to do? I want to set the play pad Y position equal to that point. And what that point is, what is it? Screen Y. We shall just see about this. So let's quickly run it. So we have our game here. Let's move up. Up works, down. Oh my gosh, down didn't work. But as you can see, it's not going anywhere. I've left it my keyboard at maybe 5 seconds now, and when I pull up, it's still there. What happened that we did not account for the extra paddle position or paddle size Y. The paddle has its own height, and you remember graphics are counted from the top left. So if we do not account for this length, it will simply go inside and not be seen. So let's quickly fix that. Shouldn't take much of our time. Let's head back to our script and say, first of all, what was the player pad Y size? So the play pad Y size is 100. So we're just going to say play pad size Y. So if the play pad Y plus the play pad size Y, was it that way? Play pad size Y? Oh, play size Y, sorry. If plus play size Y is greater than or equal to screen Y, then what do you want us to do? Then the play pad Y plus the play size Y should be equal to the screen Y. So let's quickly test it, then I'll explain it. So the moment I run it, I get this error, can't assign to operator. Okay, what is wrong? So if playpad Y plus play size Y is greater than or equal to size screen Y, playpad plus play size Y. So what if we did this, instead of doing that there, with Control V, then we say minus. So let's run and hopefully it will be successful. So it is running, and I guess that's good news. So let's write down. Oh yes guys, it worked again. So I can move up, but I cannot move out of the screen. I can move down, but I cannot move out of the screen. For now my speed is okay. I love my speed and I think I can do it 30. But as you can see, we just set some borders and everything seems to work quite well. So if right now your game is not working like the way mine is, you should go back in the tutorials and check maybe your code, compare mine and see whether you might have gone wrong. I simply can't understand why it refused to assign there, but at least you got out of it. So it says playpad Y is equal to screen size Y minus the player size Y, which means it will assign us to the playpad Y will be assigned to the screen size minus the size of the paddle Y, and that has happened, has been successful, and I'm grateful that that has worked. Otherwise, stay tuned for the next tutorials. They're going to be much interesting, and as always, thanks for watching.